What's up, you guys? This is Steven, and I'm back with another photo analysis. This time, I'll be analyzing the cover of Koda Kumi's single entitled Lies. And this single is the fifth single of Koda Kumi's 12 Singles in 12 Weeks collection. And when I first look at this single, I noticed like the coloration and also the style of Koda Kumi's clothes. And Koda Kumi, like in this particular photo, Koda Kumi, she's representing the culture of China. So, she's representing Chinese culture. And, you know, you can kind of tell based on the outfit that she's wearing, as well as the fan. And, you get like a Chinese vibe with this photo. I like the coloration in this photo, and I like that her outfit, like the coloration and her outfit, they both match each other. However, I do have some issues with this photo. And one issue that I have is that if you look at Koda Kumi's eyeliner or the makeup around her eyes, that mascara, it seems like, it's wearing her instead of Koda Kumi wearing it. And I think it's because, Koda Kumi's eyes in this photo, they're not very strong. If she had like, more life behind her eyes, it would come off better. It wouldn't come off as if like she's being overshadowed by her eyeshadow, you know? Also, if you notice in the photo, like her hand looks very stiff. It looks kind of like a mannequin's hand. It's I don't know. I'm not quite sure what she was going for with that. I guess she was just trying to do something, that was, you know, I guess different or something, just to add some activity to the photo, I guess. But ultimately, I think that it comes off as just stiff, and I don't think it's the best look for the photo. If she had changed up her hands a little bit and maybe kind of like spread her fingers out, I think that would have looked better than this. Here she kind of comes off as a bit of a mannequin because her hand is stiff and her eyes don't really have any life behind them, and the clothes, well, not the clothes, but like the makeup is wearing her, so those things don't help. um I will say that I do like the outfit. you know it looks like Koto Kumi added her own little spin, her own little flair to you know her outfit. It's kind of like it's representative of Chinese culture, but at the same time, it's like Koto Kumi put her little spin on it as well to make it original to her. Also in the photo, if you look at around Koto Kumi's face, it's like this weird, like, I don't know what that is, but it's like white, and it looks like it's it looks, I don't know, it looks like it's like more of like a earring or something. It doesn't, I don't get what it's doing there though. It looks like something that you would see on a rug. It looks like if you look at a rug, you'll probably see that similar looking thing that is around Koto Kumi's face. And I don't know why she did that. I think that also kind of brings down the photo. I think that, there's a lot of things going on in the facial area, and that sort of kind of makes it seem like, those things are wearing Koda Kumi instead of Koda Kumi wearing those, you know, things, those accessories, the makeup, you know, as well. I think that, the flower on her head is a bit much. But let's see. And there's also a hat on her head, it looks like. And I don't think, I think the ultimate thing is this. If Kodokumi had a stronger facial expression, I think she could have pulled this off better. But since her facial expression isn't the strongest here, it comes off as if, all these accessories and the makeup is wearing Kodokumi. It's like she's being, overshadowed by it and kind of like consumed by, her accessories and her makeup. And, that's a shame because I think this photo has the potential to be a really good photo, but there's just some things that are wrong with the photo that bring down the quality. Um, the fan, I think the fan was a nice touch. Um, However, I think the fan could have been used in a different way. The fan is covering about a fourth of the photo, and I think that maybe if Kodokumi had put the fan, you know, around her, her chest, around her torso, and spread the fan out, I think that could have worked, a little better. But then again, that would cover up her clothes that she's wearing. Um, so I think that, I think the fan could work, but I think they just need to kind of retool, redo that a little bit and just find, the exact way to work the fan into the photo. Um, Her hairstyle, it's decent. It's not anything special. But at least it isn't, overshadowing her. You know, Unlike her makeup and her accessories. I will say that I like the flowers that are on her shoulders. I like those flowers. And I'm a little surprised that she didn't have the same type of flowers that are on her shoulders in her hair as well. I don't know why she didn't do that. But then again, maybe she just wanted to, create a little more, dynamic, a little more diversity in the photo. And see. Also in this photo, Kotokumi's neck looks a little bit short, a little short. And I think like the shadowing is definitely not doing her any favors. So, to be fair, like the shadowing takes away from her neck. Plus the pose that she's doing kind of, doesn't present her neck in the best light. But I think kind of like the shadowing, if the shadowing was better, if her neck found the light, then I think she would look like her neck area would look better. But I think probably that fan and plus those accessories are, kind of like shadowing her neck, or creating a shadow around her neck. And, the theme of this photo, or, the theme of this single, you know, presumably is lies. And I don't see that theme really represented in this photo. You know, I'm not seeing it. I don't see it. Hey, if you guys see it, let me know. But I don't see the theme of lies represented in this photo. I do see the culture of China sort of kind of represented in this photo. But I could kind of see this photo representing something along the lines of secret or something like that, more so than lies. I don't know. Um, but I'll say that, Koda Kumi did not interpret the theme in this photo at all. Um, and, overall, I think this is an alright photo. There's some issues with it that bring down the quality of the photo. But I think it's a decent photo. It's respectable. And, it did, like, it was used to promote her single Lies as well. So, I guess, it's worth something. But I've gone on for long enough. But, feel free to tell me what you guys think. What are your opinions about Kokumi's photo? You like it? You dislike it? You disagree with anything I've said? You agree with anything I said? Hey, feel free to let me know. And, I thank you very much for, the comments and the opinions. And as well, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Feel free to give this video a thumbs up. The support is greatly appreciated. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now. Also, one more thing I want to mention before I leave is that if you look at this photo, look at Koda Kumi's arm in this photo. Not the arm that's in the forefront, but the arm that's in the back. It looks weird, doesn't it? Like, it's totally shadowed, you know? It's, it's just overshadowed and it's not presented in the best light. And it's not even in the photo. It kind of looks like Koda Kumi only has one arm a little bit, It looks odd. Like I said before, this photo, it has the potential to be a good photo based on everything that's in it, but everything that's in it was not used appropriately, was not used correctly. And ultimately that brought down the photo. But again, that's just my opinion. But thanks a lot for listening, and again, feel free to let me know what you think. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.